We're going to continue our study on Psalm 23. Verse 3 is where we start today, and probably where we'll finish. Restoreth my soul. He restoreth my soul. David understood that nothing filled him up when he was empty or broke. Nothing fixed him up when he was broken. Nothing cleaned him off when he was dirty, like the Lord. The joy of the Lord is our strength. God gave us a spirit of love, power, and a sound mind, and disposed of that old spirit of fear. He says, behold, Paul writes, behold, the old is gone and the new is, all things are made new. And sometimes we wonder of okay, we keep asking for you to restore this area of our life, it keeps falling apart. Or sometimes we ask again and again and again to restore a situation. And sometimes we get so focused on the circumstances around us that we don't realize God can bring us through anything because He can restore us. He can lead us. He strengthens us. He restores our soul, regardless of the circumstances around him. David, as a shepherd, had good days and bad days, same as any other profession, same as any other person. But he understood from experience that God restores his soul, his inmost parts, the parts that people couldn't reach, the parts that situations and blessings and even passions and desires couldn't quite get to. He says, He restores my soul. Have you spent time with the Lord? Have you just set aside okay, no technology, no social media, just me, the Word, and the presence of the Lord in prayer and in meditation on His Word, and just me and Him, just pouring things out to Him, letting Him fill you up. John the Baptizer says, I must decrease, so He must increase. Paul says that I have made all things to all men, so that some means I save some. And then he says this, I know how it is to be abased, and I know how to abound. I can do all things through Christ, who strengthened him on the inside. David writes, He restores my soul. And in restoring his soul, He leads him in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He empties us of ourselves, whether it involves breaking things off. He is the one who prunes. In order for something to grow, you have to prune out the weeds and get rid of the bad fruit and the bad branches and the swollen parts and the broken parts. In order for it to grow better, to grow more fully, to grow more productively, produce more. Yeah, but in order to do that, He has to get rid of what doesn't work, what habits that need to be broken, what changes that need to be made, what thought processes or thought patterns, emotional handling of situations, or even the situations themselves. But He says He restores my soul, and He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He understood that wherever the Lord led him was not only for the glory of the Lord, but that it was right, it was true, the path of righteousness. We know the road is narrow, but the Lord leads us for Him. Paul writes in Philippians that in Romans that He works all things together for the good of those who love Him according to His purpose. But the good news is in Philippians, he says, He who began a good work shall continue it. So David understood that on an intimate level, just like Paul did. He understood that, through good, through bad, in the bad times I can rely on Him to lead me to find the peace in the midst of the circumstance so He can restore my soul and then just continue to lead me on in the path that He has me to go, wherever they lead, for His name's sake. He restores our souls, and He leads us in the paths of righteousness. They're connected. Spend time with Him. Have you given yourself a chance to just let go of whatever thing you are trying to hang on to what is confounding and confusing you in the situations you might face. I have them. I'm sure we all do. Or there's just some things where you're just like, God, what are you doing with this? Why is this happening? Why am I going through this? Why is the person I love or the person I know going through this? Just take a time to just, all right, God, help me. Spend time feeding yourself with His Word, washing yourself with the living water, spending time with the one who restores our soul, who is our refuge and our strength and our very present help in trouble. Spend time with the one who wants to just keep leading us, who is working in us for His glory and working all things together for our good and ultimately His purpose. So that as we are walking, He can still make time to lead us beside still waters. He can take time to make us lie down in green pastures, and that we will not want, because above all else, the Lord is our shepherd. He restores your soul. Make time for Him to do that. Allow Him to do that. It is our choice. David understood it was his choice. He could have chosen not to do that. And there was times when he did. And there's times when we don't. He restores our soul. And He leads us in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Take time for Him. It'll be worth it. Even if you have to wake up early or stay up later, make time daily, often, for Him. It's not the easiest habit in the world to form, coming from someone who likes his habits. But once you get into it, you realize that it gets into you, and it just changes your life for the better from the inside out, restoring your soul so you can better pour into others and be focused on what matters. I'll see you all next time. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I appreciate and love you all very much, and I'm praying for you. See you next time.